Hello and welcome to session 51 of my Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough. This is being recorded on July 3rd, 2023. Currently, we are in Old Song in Twin Elms, and we are getting prepared to travel to Burial Isle, which is where we have to go to continue with the story and go to the last few areas in the game. So we're getting close. There's still a lot, I think, that we're going to have to discuss, but we are getting close. So, of the companions I have traveling with me, Sagani is the only one who we haven't completed her companion quest yet. We are still looking for Persoq. And the last vision we saw is that it was standing in a forest surrounded by blackened trees and crumbling ruins. So that could be the Black Meadow, but I'm going to go to Burial Isle first, see if possibly it's there before we actually try in Black Meadow. That way we can kill two birds with one stone if Sagani's quest does actually end in this next place. So, this is Dorval, the ferryman. He's going to take us to Burial Isle. Dorval inclines his head in acknowledgement. I will. Take care that you do not lose your footing. These waters have a fickle temper. So I'm now looking for the Court of Penitence.
I have trod more secret and sacred places in your company than I could have imagined.
So this place is secret and sacred.
Do you remember when we were children, and the missionaries came to tell us about the gods? They told us we could see them in the stars.
Yavara looks off in the distance as something only she can see. So Yavara is the sister, we chose that, but is the sister of a soul that our soul used to inhabit. So I am currently seeing visions of whoever that person was.
I remember when I heard that, I snuck out at night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because I wanted to see them better. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort.
Fort had outlived its use. It was false. It was a false sense of security. It was that, for me as much as anyone. Seeing it burn, it made me think. She looks at you. This is your home as much as it is mine. Do you worry about it? I worry about you. You should be more worried about yourself. Half the guards still plot your death at night. So, this soul was ordered to come here by Theos thousands of years ago to keep an eye on Yavara, so Yavara's guards do not trust this soul.
I miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army.
You can feel words formed long ago rising in your throat like a toxic black bile. In other words, I don't have any choice but to say this. Have you thought about Oceanus?
Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
So she, thousands of years ago, is putting together an army to try and stave off Theos's invading army of Lead and Key and probably someone else. And I guess they're asking this ancient king to help. These two souls just showed up here. I can't really do anything with them though. Okay, so what is happening is I got the favor of Bareth, and what the gods promised to do once I got their favor is to lend me souls so that I can descend the pit in Burial Isle. So these souls that I'm going to run into that you just saw, I kind of absorb them as a way to allow me to do that, to descend the pit. Some shades here. We have a feral druid and a specter, so nothing we haven't fought before.
No you! All right then.
So, don't see blackened trees here, like in our vision of Persoq, but I know there's a lot of ruins here, so we might be in the right place. This is an interesting little structure here. Some crumbling stone walls. This is tinted green, could be Adra. Just found a unique sword, the last blade of the White Forge. The famed White Forge of Durgan's Battery produced some of the greatest weapons and pieces of armor known in the Eastern Reach. The White Forge's dwarven smiths carefully guarded the secret techniques they used to craft Durgan's steel, legendary for its strength, flexibility, and ability to hold a sharp edge. When Durgan's Battery was overrun by an unknown force, the fires of the White Forge went dark, and the secrets of Durgan's steel died with its smiths. The owner of this sword was an Orland from Twin Elms who claimed he found a naked blade near the skeleton of a dwarf in the foothills near Stalwart. Many were skeptical of his claims that it was Durgan's steel blade, but it bore the maker's mark of the White Forge. The Orland had artisans from the Fisher Crane tribe create a guard, grip, and pummel to dress the blade, resulting in an unusual appearance. The proud owner's luck did not last long. He went missing somewhere near Elmshore shortly after receiving his finished sword. Many locals believed that he had been killed for his prize, but neither he nor his weapon were ever seen again. Looks like we just found him. It's just a regular sword. I'm going to compare it to what Bjartar has. Same damage. Both exceptional. This one bypasses damage reduction. And the one I have bypasses damage reduction. And the last blade of the White Forge ups the damage and the accuracy. I think that's better. So I am going to equip the last blade of the White Forge. See if I can give it some more. Oh, I can make it superb. Very nice. Can I make anything else superb? Neat. Oh wow. Sky Dragon eyes. don't think I'm going to be finding any more of those. Some more souls that we are absorbing.
Grave. Not even slowing it down!
It's like a vision of some kind of sacrificial pyre. A bunch of people being strung up on bonfires.
Grave.
Okay, we got a Chinguilla here. I don't know if I said this in the regular lore through, but those Chinguillas, I fought a group of them in the Endless Pass Adnua, beneath Cadnua, and if given the chance, they can charm and dominate your party, which can make for a very bad fight. So you have to first ward against that if you can, and second, if it's just one, it's probably not too big of a deal. But if there are multiple ones, then it can make for a difficult fight. So that's why I made sure to mention that there was a Chinguilla there, and I cast Durance's Prayer Against Treachery, which galvanizes the devotion of the party, granting immunity to the charmed and dominated afflictions. So, thought I would at least explain that.
All right, then.
This is an Ingwithan Adrabon amulet that gives +3 might. Carved from a solid piece of Adra and decorated with woven brass, this amulet appears to be extremely old. It is slightly warm to the touch. So these bodies have some pretty good loot on them. Some war paint and an exceptional battle axe. Nothing too noteworthy there. More people burning on pyres. Looks like these are the souls that we're absorbing, maybe. Here Chinguilla laughs. Look at this statue here. We have horns. Oh, something just ran into us. Have some teeth here. I'm not sure what this is, if this is some kind of statue or Gallowayne, or if it's an Ingwithan. Maybe we'll find out.
Of course.
Girdle of Jotun Constitution. I feel like a bunch of people don't have belts. Ooh. Here we go. The towering stone creature is cold and slimy with fungal growth. Its horns look sharp enough to saw through lumber. Did we explore down here as much as we can? No, we did not. Alright. Go. Some more souls. Pugra and men Pugras.
Of course.
Wonder if this cave is connected. Blocked passage, blocked passage. You venture through a doorway into an underground tunnel. A staircase coils upward, leading to a dim passage. On the upper level, light filters through a collapsed ceiling. A wall of piled stones and rubble blocks the way ahead. Clear the rubble with a pry bar. You wedge your pry bar against a large stone and put all your weight into it. Your efforts dislodge the boulder and it rolls free with a heavy groan. Other slabs and chunks of debris begin to break away. The massive pile creaks and rumbles, threatening to loose 1,000 pounds of stone around you. Someone's gonna get hurt. Yep. As the debris tumbles down, you lunge through the narrowing gap. However, Bjartur isn't fast enough and disappears behind the falling rocks. Bjartur emerges from a cloud of dust, hunched over and cradling tender ribs. Light breaks into the tunnel up ahead, growing brighter as you continue. Soon, the passage ends, opening up high on the cliffside of Burial Isle. So yeah, all that was a shortcut up here. Not sure why we would need that. Here's the pit.
Another turn, Inquisitor.
Theos signals some unseen attendant standing beside a large crank. So is he torturing her?
I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused?
He waits, but Javara only stares straight ahead, her face stony, the creak of her restraints the only sound.
Do you confess to apostasy?
So apostasy is the abandonment of a certain, or just like a speaking out against a particular religion. So that's what she's being accused of here. So she is somehow threatening the religion of Theos.
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
So the religion is the mistake.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
So he is accusing her of speaking out against, of denouncing the gods. In particular, knowing Theos, is probably talking about Woodica, and she is saying that while she used to believe in the things that he believed in, she found otherwise, and she's been trying to teach that something that threatens the religion.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Yvara seems to look directly at you. I think that means us as we exist now, not as her brother in the past.
Another turn!
Theos nods to the Inquisitor at the crank.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Yvara grasps for breath, gathering up what little strength she has left to speak. Theos shakes his head and points at the Inquisitor, and the scraping grind of rusted gears echoes in your mind as the apparitions fade away. So she did not give in.
Looks like a long way down.
Good for you, Yvara. Okay, so maybe this isn't the area of black trees and ancient ruins. Every wrinkle and boil carved into Woodica's statue looks painfully familiar. So let's take a look at Woodica here. We see the crown. That is her symbol. We see her arms folded. She's in robes. So this was a place, it looks, to worship Woodica. And here is the pit of souls, or here's the pit that we need to jump into, that the souls will help us to the bottom. Okay. Before we go in there, let's try and finish Sagani's quest. So to regroup while we're running there, Theos and Yvara had a conflict probably thousands of years ago. Yvara found something out about the gods and religion and spoke about this. Theos took issue of this and said that she was a heretic, and obviously that she was worthy of death. She was being tortured here and asked to confess. If she was doing it there, I wonder if possibly the thought was to throw her into the pit afterwards. All right. What do you know of the temple on this island, Dorval? Dorval's lined face turns upward toward the rest of the island, then back to you. That is the court of the penitents. It is a dreaded place and one to be respected, as the gods must sometimes be feared, but always obeyed. I'm ready to return to Old Song. Alright, let's see. Hope it's the Black Meadow. Going. This is definitely blackened trees here, but there's not very many ruins. Unless it's talking about the ruins of the dragons, because these are just stone. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? Since I'm going to pause the recording, and I will pick it back up when I find Persoq, because I don't want you guys to have to watch me look fruitlessly for somebody while I could just cut to it, because probably not going to have too much of anything interesting happen on the search, but if it does, then I will unpause for that as well. Okay, so I didn't find them in Black Meadow, but then I also remembered that this area, Northfield, had a lot of ruins in it. I guess I don't see the blackened trees, but oh, yeah, there we go. And the reason I unpaused it is because when I came here, Sagani said that her figurine was glowing, which means we are in the right place. So let's take a look around here, see if we can find Persoq. You come upon a clearing and see a group of Glenfathans standing in a circle. Sagani glances from the Audra statuette to the hunters, looking for a connection. Meanwhile, the hunters turn and notice you. Their bows are drawn. Take it easy, we're just looking for someone.
What business does an Estremor have with the Fangs?
They step aside and turn to you, and as they do, you see something on the ground behind them. Lying amidst the ferns is a white stag. Dark blood mars its brilliant coat, and its sides tremble with quick, shallow breaths. You feel a presence in the beast, something ancient and familiar. Before you can speak, something thumps to the ground. You look down and see the Audra bear, its bright glow flickering.
Arc's shadow.
Sagani draws up beside you, her wide eyes fixed on the dying stag. That figurine. All that time, it's led us here just a moment too late. One of the hunters takes a step forward, and Sagani raises her bow, an arrow knocked.
Any closer, and you'll bleed out next to him.
Her voice is low and tremulous.
I never thought I'd prepared myself to meet a stranger. To share the honor and history of my village with someone who had no knowledge of us. Even someone who'd scorn our way of life.
She watches the great beast's labored breathing for several seconds. So is Persoq the stag? If you're going to do this, you've got to hurry.
I was going to tell him about the years of abundance in Persoq. How his granddaughters have hunted caribou, and his grandsons made our walls strong. But he'll be gone in minutes.
Trust your instincts.
He must know that Persoq remembers him.
She kneels by the fallen stag. Placing her hand on its head, she begins speaking. She tells Persoq of prosperous decades, of the grain trade that has sustained them through long winters. She recites the stories told about him and speaks of the new elders who have followed in his footsteps. The stag takes a final shuddering breath and falls still.
If you've finished your chanting, we need to get to work before the meat spoils.
Have you no respect? A great soul inhabited this body.
She takes the lusterless Audra figurine.
And it's gone now. What's left is our kill.
How can you show so little regard?
Coming from people who revere stones and long-dead Audra.
She slanders the builders.
Are you so quick to forget all I've done for the Fangs?
Very well. We leave you in peace then.
I was hoping my reputation would be able to come into play here. Have I been in this cave? I have not.
I shall be discreet. I'll see what I can find.
Oh. I'm gonna guess this is one of my bounties. Yep. Devwin's head. The monstrous Menpugra. Okay, so those aren't too difficult. I think I'll finish off the rest of them.
Hello? Hello?
Before we jump down the, I think I've read Glenfathan's stocking boots before. Okay, we're going to do the bounties. Where to next? We got Devwin, Mina, so we need to go to Woodend Plains, Anslog's Compass, and Madmer Bridge. Let's go. Sagani was looking for Persoq this entire time. It was a stag, but she still got to finish her quest. She still got to talk to him, tell the old soul of how Persoq has been thriving and because of his influence. So I think that she's going to be happy with the end of her quest. Alright, first let's go to Woodend Plains. Just have a feeling that they're going to be on one of these raised platforms. Oh, maybe this is them. Oh, just a lone Pugra that I must have missed the first time I came through here. Alright. Now my guess is as good as any. No idea. Nedden, a woman you remember from Brackenbury, strides over to you. The hem of her robe is torn and covered in burrs. This, I believe, is, the animancer who wanted the theorems of Pangram, and I didn't think it was such a great idea for her to have it. You could have just refused. You could have forgotten all about the theorems of Pangram, but you had to go and tell Grimda. Her voice trembles and she clutches at her hair with a shaking hand. I know you're prone to strong opinions, but I had no idea you'd launched a personal crusade against me. I am truly sorry, Nedden. She barks with harsh laughter. Me too. Oh, I got a ring there. The Ring of Eternal Funding, +5 copper. This plain gold band contains a power that belies its simple appearance. It's been passed between animancers, wizards, and other scholars for centuries because it provides a steady income to the wearer, allowing him or her to pursue research interests without being tied to a particular patron. It's interesting. Don't need the money, but that's kind of cool.
All right, then.
Alright, still looking for our mark. Let me just double check here. Yep, I'm in the right area. There she is. Druid with a lot of animal companions.
Leave it to me!
Settle!
That's it!
We got a unique warbow. The Reign of Godag Field. Glenfathan village of Godag was surrounded by wooded plains that became a key battleground during the War of Black Trees. The few survivors of the slaughter there remember a single Glenfathan archer raining arrows on the Duke's forces, holding them back while the villagers of Godag fled. As flames swept the fields and spread to the trees, arrows flew still from beneath the blanket of smoke. Wow, it's a superb warbow. Sagani have... look at this real quick. I don't know if she's able to use warbow. I mean, she can use warbows. Does she have a bonus with them? No. But Adair does. Maybe I'll give that to him as a long-range weapon. Pallegina has finished a quest. A priest of Andra and a crew of greedy sailors were all it took to row Pallegina out to the spot where Alessa and Palin's ghosts were singing. Unfortunately, the chaos of the storm overturned the small boat. Pallegina, the priest, and the sailors were all plunged deep into the grace of Chiamena. Miraculously, most of them emerged in the great sea near Cave Barda. Though the entrance of the cave was hidden from the surface, the interior held wonders that had not been seen for generations: sunken warships, trade vessels, and remnants of the unlucky travelers that had fallen victim to the grace of the past. Pallegina and the ragtag group discovered a tribe of survivors that had persevered in the caves through cannibalism and limited raiding. Their extensive time in the cave had left them unintelligible and wild. Though some attacked the crew of the recently sunk boat, Pallegina was able to scare the others off. Eventually, the group found their way to a pile of bones that contained the remains of Alessa and Palan. The Andrite priest buried the pair together and performed a service over the bodies. With that, the spirits retreated from the world and toward the beyond. And we got a copper lover's ring. The ring is heavy and rough-hewn. It looks like it was cast from a poorly refined lump of copper. Tiny impurities still glisten around the band. Given the obvious tool marks, it appears to have been made by an amateur rather than a professional jeweler. Grants swap endurance, which 100 endurance is paired to is transferred from the caster to the paired character. So I'm guessing the pair is this one here. Yeah. So the two people that are wearing this can swap endurance. It's a cool mechanic. Okay. Where to next? Next, we're looking for Captain Morumi and Anslog's compass.
All right, then.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to equip it there with that bow. Not very good at guessing where these guys are going to be. In the cave? We are in the cave.
Brave thou
That's right. There's a lot of them. I wonder who does the roars. have a unique arquebus, the Pliambo Percastitas. Sounds Valian. A charismatic yet nefarious Valian thief grew tired of stealing and decided to find a new way to entertain himself. He would get himself hired onto a ship and integrate himself with the crew. After a few voyages, he convinced the crew to mutiny, making sure to execute the captain with his own arquebus. Once the deed was done, he would abandon the crew to their fate at the next port and slip away, traveling to a new city to start the game again. So it's plus 10 accuracy granted to an ally attacking the same target. I wonder how those two things are connected. And then the head of Captain Morami. Alright, one more. Madmer Bridge.
Pray. Join us!
Man.
I'm here.
This is actually a difficult one.
Leave it to me!
Alright, the end. We got a unique large shield here. Old Garen's Wall. Everyone in Balereach knew Garen was a grumpy old man with an inordinate fondness for beats and no patience for chit-chat. None knew him as the Adiran bruiser whose own troubled past had forced him to seek a fresh start in the colonies. So when the Adiran soldiers marched into the Balereach at the start of the War of Defiance, it surprised everyone when old Garen joined the village defenders with a shield and sword and went toe-to-toe with the Adiran forces, holding them back as well as any of his younger comrades. Wow, plus, oh, that's because it's superb. Is that better for Adair than what he's got now? Figure that out. And then the head of Galen Dalgard. Got some level ups. Always exciting. So we're level 13 now. Really quickly, just want to compare. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to equip Old Garen's Wall on there instead. And then let's level up Adair. For Adair, I banked the skill points, so I didn't buck up anything, and I gave him the Fearless passive trait. The fighter is immune to frightened and terrified afflictions. Next, we'll do Bjartar. For Bjartar, I upped his lore, so he now has a lore of 10. And gave him the level 7 Cipher spell, Stasis Shell. The Cipher is able to isolate a single enemy from the world, leaving them unable to act, but also unable to be affected by outside parties. So if someone's giving us trouble, then we can just kind of hold them off for a little bit. And then the level 6 spell, Mind Plague, destroys an enemy's memory with calculated accuracy, leaving them dazed and confused before rapidly jumping to 5 other enemies. Next, Kana. Kana, I upped his stealth to 1 plus 1, so he has a stealth of 9 now. And I gave him the phrase, Old Seek would not rest till his hunger was sated. The Chanter's allies regain a portion of damage they inflict as endurance. Next, we'll go to Aloth. For Aloth, I upped his lore. I believe his lore is now 13. I gave him the level 7 spells, Ninagoth's Killing Bolt. The spell inflicts a heavy amount of raw damage to the target. Any non-spirit felt by the attack will summon a specter under the caster's control. And Tane's Chaotic Orb, named for the eccentric Adirian wizard Tane. The Chaotic Orb bounces between a number of enemies, dealing damage and inflicting a variety of negative afflictions, including petrified, paralyzed, weakened, sickened, stunned, and blinded. And finally, I mastered Expose Vulnerabilities, which means I can now cast it per encounter. Bears the enemy's combat vulnerabilities for all to see, reducing their damage reduction, deflection, and concentration. That's everyone for now.
All right, then.
We're going to turn the bounties.
I must say, I'm impressed.
Oh. Just realized I wasn't paying the full 900, so I wonder maybe a couple people died in an attack on my stronghold. Okay. So turn the bounties. Maybe we'll be able to level up Durance and Sagani. Then we'll rest. And that'll be the end of this session.
Well met, friend.
Mina is no longer a problem. Here's her head. Have to wonder what gets into kids like her. I'm glad to hear the matter's done with. Here's your bounty. Galen Dalgard's slaving days are over. I've brought his head. That's a piece of news that'll help quite a few souls sleep a little better. Hope it brings our client some peace. Here's the payment. I'm here for the bounty of Devlin. Ah, good. Here's the bounty. And Captain Murarami has been dealt with. I'd wager a Valiant sea captain's singing your praises right about now. Well, here you are, as promised. All right. And yeah, Durance and Sagani leveled up, so let's do that real quick. For Durance, I upped his mechanics +1, so now it has a mechanics of 12. I got the level 8 spells, Minor Avatar. The priest gains a supernatural glow as he or she is infused with power. As a minor avatar of their deity, the priest gains bonuses in all attributes, endurance, health, and weapon damage. Resurrection. A single ally is revived and healed. They receive the effects of barring death's door, and nearby allies are healed. Storm of Holy Fire. A terrible rain falls in the area of effect, repeatedly inflicting burn damage on all in the area of effect. And finally, I mastered Pillar of Faith, so I can cast it per encounter, which calls down a Pillar of Divine Judgment, inflicting crush damage and knockdown on enemies in the area of effect. Last, Sagani. Sagani, I upped her athletics, so she now has an athletics of 5, and I gave her twinned arrows. When the ranger uses a hunting bow or war bow, they can opt to fire 2 arrows with each shot. Each shot has reduced accuracy. Is this modal? Yes, it's modal, so I have to actually equip that.
Ready, Watcher.
Okay. There's also a new quest for Pallegina to go on. On a remote island in the Deadfire Archipelago, the famed apothecary Tamawatua creates potions and unguents that are renowned from Nasatok to the southern edges of the Eastern Reach. He boasts that the secret to his success is his location within the archipelago, from which he has access not only to a huge array of native creatures and plants, but also to merchants traveling from all the settled parts of the world. Lately, Tama's home and laboratory have come under attack by pirates, forcing him to flee from island to island almost every day. The apothecary's clients and Tama's many children have pled with the pirates to stop their pursuit. Receiving no sympathy from the pirates and no help from the mainland rulers of Abbott, they turn to the mercenaries in Eastern Reach for help.
Last...
I keep hearing these whispers when I'm here. Okay, so that's where my companions go who aren't in my party.
Have a moment to talk?
Not quite yet, Sagani. We'll start next session with that because it is now time to call an end to session 51. We will begin next session by talking to Sagani here. Her quest is finished, so I'm sure she has something to say about that. And then we will finally descend the pit into Burial Isle. I also realized that we didn't ask for more bounties, so there might be a few more that we need to do. But I don't know, maybe we'll do those off camera. Those aren't exactly like lore heavy or anything like that. They're just like a way to gain levels. So, but yeah, we will definitely be speaking with Sagani and we will be heading into the pit in session 52. So I hope you will join me then. Thank you as always for joining me for this one. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear from you and we will see you again in session 52. Thanks everybody. Bye.